So it took us only about 45 minutes. It looks like it could work, so let's brew some coffee. Hey guys, it's Alex from European Coffee Trip, and in this video we'll build a coffee dripper with nothing but the aluminium foil we get from our local store for less than €1. So check it out. So several months ago we received an email from a reader in Japan, and he sent us a video of the coffee dripper he built. And it's a coffee dripper from aluminium foil, and we thought, well, this is kind of crazy and we don't really need it. But then I realized, wait a minute, you don't need to use any additional paper filter, and aluminium foil is part of most households around the world. So it means anyone can do it for almost zero cost. So we decided to test it in the office, and we were surprised by the resulting cup of coffee. In this video, we'll show you how to build a dripper. We'll also go through some troubleshooting, and we will compare the taste to the regular dripper. So let's get started. What you need is aluminium foil, jar or mug, coffee grinder, and the kettle. So now it's time to turn this into this. So let's get started. The least fun part, at least for me, was turning 10 meters of aluminium foil to a long strip of about 2 centimeters. We didn't get any instructions, so what I did was unrolling all the foil and then slowly folding it in total 4 times to get a strip. You needed quite a lot of space to do it. So second folding is over and we continue. So third fold is over, but we continue with the fourth one, the last one. Okay, it's finished. It took us only 36 minutes. Now it's time to start rolling it. It's good to tidy it up because the distance between each strip is what will hold the coffee ground during the filtration. Last 50 centimeters, I guess. So it took us only about 45 minutes, but it looks like it could work, so let's brew some coffee. So this will be the longest brew we ever did. Over 6 minutes. What do you think? I think it's good. I mean, we brew it for over 8 minutes, so that's interesting thing. It's not really over extracted. Like aromatics was amazing. The taste is not like wow, but it's good. So let's talk about the details now, and we'll start with dosing. And this dripper, as any other dripper, has some limitations, and what we find out that about 12 grams is the capacity of the dripper that is more or less okay. You cannot really do the big batches, and I think you can go even smaller for about 10 grams. and we use a standard water to coffee ratio, 200 grams of water. I think you can go a little bit lower and get a little bit stronger coffee. What you should expect that depending on your work and then the rolling of the dripper, your extraction time or the brewing time will be a little bit longer. In our case, we are used to do 2.5 minutes, and with this dripper we get to about 8 minutes, but the coffee was delicious. The next thing is the grind size, and this is a little bit tricky because it really depends on how you roll the dripper, because the distance between two stripes actually what makes the resistance between the coffee ground and water. And in our case we have a big difference between the dripper I rolled yesterday to the one that I did today. So this is the dripper I was making yesterday, and this is what I did today. And you see, depending on how tightly I was rolling, there are big difference in the dripper itself, and it will influence a lot the brewing. So this was very fast and this was very slow. So like for this brew, it took us over 8 minutes to extract the same amount of coffee. But in general, we use a little bit coarser than the regular drip coffee grind size, and it was okay. I think what is also important to know that actually it's kind of balanced between the extraction and how much dust you get in your cup, because there is no paper filter, so you will have some level of dust in your cup, and grind size is the variable that will influence that a lot. So the interesting thing about this dripper is that you can influence the shape of the cone, and that way you can make it fit to different kind of vessels you might use at home. So we use this one. It's a transparent, it's a carafe that we use for brewing, and you can make it to fit really nicely. Or you can use the regular mug you have at home or in the office, and as well you can just adjust a little bit. Now in our case it's almost identical, so I don't need to really change it a lot. But here we go. You can do that and it fit nicely. Well, only the problem is that probably it will brew slightly differently with the different shapes you use. One thing that we were afraid of when it comes to this dripper is that we spent 1 hour making it and then we need to throw it away, because we were not sure if it's really possible to reuse it, but it is. Actually, it's not that difficult. You just throw away most of the used coffee ground and then run it through the water, and most of the coffee grounds and waste go out, and I think the last pieces of the coffee and oils you can easily wash away when you are warming up the dripper for the next brew. So it actually works really well. What you need to be careful of is that if you are shaping the cone, either for brewing or for cleaning, the middle part don't go away. It happened to us several times. Well, the good news is that it's not the end of the story. You can just roll it again and it can work as the new one. It's not a problem. So we were using Ethiopian coffee, naturally processed from the Bulgarian specialty coffee roastery called Snack. And this coffee was really good actually, and not only that we use it or brew it with our dripper, our do-it-yourself dripper, but in order to compare the taste and find a difference, we use also V60 that we use a lot in the office. And what we can say is actually that both brew were good in their own means. And maybe you can see already on these cups that this is the one that we brew with the aluminium dripper that we made. Is a little bit darker, so there is a sediment in it, and obviously because there was no paper filtration, so there is some kind of coffee dust that went to the brew, but not as much as we would think. It's much more clean brew than you might get from French press, for example. So it was a rather surprising thing. And this is the brew from V60, sort of a regular recipe we would use just a little bit smaller dose. We use only 12 grams and 200 milliliters of water. And this cup is much more elegant, much more cleaner. I think this is the one we would prefer to drink most of the time. But on the other hand, like the intensity of the aroma, especially in the latest dripper that I tidied a little bit more, so the extraction brewing was much longer. So the intensity of the aroma was amazing. It was really good, and the taste was more intense actually. I was afraid that it will be much worse. it's actually rather clean comparing to the French press, for example. So it's still clean coffee. And yeah, we enjoy drinking them both. Well, I don't expect many of you spending an hour building this dripper, but I think it's a nice experiment to do. And maybe sometimes when you are stuck in some place without a paper filter or brewing equipment, it can be your emergency call. What's most important is that you can get a decent cup of coffee and you can even reuse the dripper multiple times. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and let us know if you ever built your own coffee brewer and what was your technique. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next coffee video very soon. Thank you, bye bye.